For the past few years, the conversation around technology jobs has been framed in dramatic terms. Replacement, disruption, collapse. The assumption is simple: AI arrives, humans exit, but that framing misses something more subtle and more important. The transformation underway in technology roles is not explosive. It is quiet, incremental, structural, and in many ways, it is harder to see because it does not look like mass layoffs or sudden extinction. It looks like small adjustments in daily work, small shifts in responsibility, small changes in what counts as expertise. Over time, those small changes compound, and that compounding is what is reshaping tech jobs in 2026. To understand what is happening now, we need context. Technology work has never been static. In the early 2000s, software engineers wrote everything from scratch. Infrastructure was manually provisioned. Deployment required specialized teams. Then cloud platforms emerged. Tools like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud abstracted away hardware. Roles did not disappear, they reorganized. Infrastructure engineers became cloud architects. Operations teams evolved into DevOps. Automation replaced repetitive tasks, but it also created new coordination work. The pattern was not destruction, it was compression and redistribution. The same pattern is now visible with AI tools. For years, artificial intelligence in tech workflows was specialized. Machine learning engineers built models. Data scientists handled training pipelines. Most other roles interacted with AI indirectly, if at all. That boundary has dissolved. Large language models and generative systems embedded in tools like ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot are no longer isolated capabilities. They are becoming infrastructure. And when a capability becomes infrastructure, it changes expectations, not overnight, but gradually. What changed recently is not only the capability of the models, it is their integration into everyday environments. Code editors now suggest architectural patterns. Project management systems summarize discussions. Documentation platforms auto-generate first drafts. Security tools flag anomalies using predictive reasoning instead of static rules. AI is no longer a separate tool you open in a browser. It is embedded inside the workflow. That shift matters because when AI becomes ambient, it alters how work is defined. Consider software development. In 2020, productivity was often measured by output volume. Lines of code, tickets completed, features shipped. In 2026, those metrics are less meaningful. Code generation tools reduce the effort required to produce functional code. What remains scarce is judgment, choosing the right architecture, identifying trade-offs, anticipating failure modes. The role shifts from producer to editor, from builder to systems thinker. This does not eliminate developers, it changes what good looks like. The same pattern appears in product management. AI systems now generate user stories, summarize user feedback, even propose roadmap priorities based on engagement data. What remains human is synthesis, understanding which signals matter, balancing technical feasibility with long-term vision, navigating ambiguity that models cannot quantify. The role becomes less about drafting documents and more about framing direction. These changes are subtle, they do not announce themselves as revolutions. A developer still writes code, a product manager still plans releases, but the center of gravity shifts, and that shift produces second-order effects. One of the most overlooked effects is skill compression. When AI handles routine execution, the gap between junior and senior roles narrows in certain tasks. A junior developer using AI assistance can produce code that resembles mid-level output, but this does not eliminate hierarchy. It increases the premium on oversight. Senior professionals are no longer valued for typing speed or familiarity with syntax. They are valued for taste, for discernment, for the ability to recognize when an AI-generated solution is subtly flawed. In other words, expertise becomes more abstract. Another second-order effect is role convergence. Historically, organizations separated design, development, analysis, and operations into distinct silos. AI tools blur those boundaries. A developer can prototype interface designs with generative systems. A designer can simulate user flows without engineering support. An analyst can write automation scripts using conversational interfaces. The result is not universal generalists, it is hybrid professionals. Individuals who orchestrate tools across domains. This quiet blending of roles may prove more transformative than any single automation breakthrough. There's also an organizational shift. As AI reduces the cost of experimentation, companies can test more ideas with fewer resources. Small teams become more capable. Startups can operate with leaner structures. Enterprises can restructure around outcomes rather than departments. This does not necessarily reduce headcount immediately, but it changes hiring criteria. Employers increasingly prioritize adaptability over specialization, tool fluency over static knowledge. Systems thinking over narrow execution. Much of the public narrative focuses on job loss. The fear is understandable. Automation has historically displaced certain forms of labor, but the current shift in tech roles is not primarily about elimination. It is about redefinition. Many tasks disappear. Few roles vanish entirely. Instead, job descriptions evolve, quietly, incrementally, often without being formally acknowledged. Another misconception is that AI expertise means becoming a machine learning engineer. In reality, the majority of professionals interacting with AI in 2026 are not building models. They are configuring, guiding, and supervising them. The skill is not in training neural networks. It is in asking better questions, structuring prompts, interpreting outputs, understanding limitations. This is a cognitive shift more than a technical one. There's also a false narrative that AI tools create uniformity, that all work will look the same because everyone has access to the same models. In practice, differentiation increases, because when baseline capability rises, creativity becomes more visible. Two engineers using the same AI assistant can produce vastly different outcomes. The difference lies in framing, constraints, evaluation criteria. The tool amplifies the operator, it does not replace them. So what does this confirm about the direction of AI? First, that AI is following the historical pattern of infrastructure technologies. Electricity did not eliminate factories. It changed how factories were designed. The internet did not eliminate commerce. It reorganized distribution and information flow. Similarly, AI is reorganizing cognitive labor, not removing it wholesale, but redistributing effort toward higher-order thinking. Second, it confirms that technological change often feels gradual from the inside. There is no single moment when a role transforms. There are small updates, new features, policy adjustments, incentive changes. Over time, these accumulate into a different professional landscape. By 2026, many technology workers will feel that their jobs are fundamentally different from 5 years prior, but they may struggle to identify exactly when the shift occurred. Third, it highlights the importance of meta skills, learning how to learn new tools, evaluating model outputs critically, communicating across hybrid teams. These capabilities are durable because they operate above specific technologies. Tools will change, interfaces will evolve, but the ability to integrate AI into coherent workflows will remain valuable. What this enables is increased leverage. Individuals can accomplish more with fewer intermediaries. Small teams can build complex systems. Experimentation becomes cheaper. Innovation cycles short, but it also quietly breaks something. It reduces the protective value of routine expertise. Memorized syntax, procedural familiarity, step-by-step repetition, those advantages erode when AI can replicate them instantly. This does not diminish experience, it shifts its foundation. Experience becomes pattern recognition, contextual judgment, strategic foresight. In practical terms, the technology job market in 2026 will not look dramatically smaller. It will look differently structured. Fewer purely execution-focused roles, more integrative roles, more emphasis on cross-functional literacy, less emphasis on narrow technical silos. The change is architectural rather than explosive. For professionals, the implication is not panic, it is recalibration. Understanding that value increasingly resides in interpretation rather than production, in orchestration rather than isolated output, in designing systems that include AI rather than competing against it. For organizations, the implication is cultural. Teams that treat AI as a side tool will underutilize it. Teams that embed AI into workflows thoughtfully will compound their advantage. Not because AI is magical, but because integration changes incentive structures, and incentives shape behavior. The transformation of tech jobs in 2026 is therefore neither dystopian nor utopian. It is infrastructural, quiet, cumulative, and largely invisible to those expecting dramatic headlines. The roles remain, the titles often remain, but the internal mechanics shift, and those shifts matter. If there is a single pattern to observe, it is this. AI tools are not removing humans from technology work. They are moving humans up the stack, toward abstraction, toward coordination, toward judgment. The surface may look familiar, but underneath, the architecture is evolving, slowly, deliberately, and with long-term consequences that extend far beyond a single hiring cycle. In the end, the question is not whether AI will transform tech jobs. It already is. The more useful question is how deeply that transformation penetrates daily practice. Because in technology, as in infrastructure, the most profound changes are often the quietest, and the quiet changes are the ones that last.